Welcome and thanks for joining this webinar. My name is Lynn Hall and I run a medical clinic in West Des Moines, Iowa. New Leaf Wellness is the name of the clinic and we specialize in natural hormone therapy, weight loss, migraine treatments, aesthetics, wellness injections, and IV nutrition. I am honored tonight to have Dr. James Blum and Dr. Sam Alawieh here with us. They will help you understand how to support your journey and enhance your health and wellness. We're all on journeys in life, each slightly different, but our overall mental and physical well-being is so important for our quality of life. My journey includes a little bit of ache from grief every single day as I lost my oldest daughter 2 years ago. So daily I work on removing the inflammation from my body and supporting it as recommended. In my daughter's spirit, I'd like to share a story that I found out after she'd been gone for a year. We were posting our angel anniversary posts on Facebook and saying how much we missed her when a friend popped on there and said, I'd like to tell you the story of how I met Amanda. I was a new student in a new school and had no friends, and I walked into my first classroom full of strangers and looked around for an empty chair. At the front, I saw a girl waving her arms and motioning to the empty chair beside her. I went over and she said, sit right here beside me. Join me today, and by the time I left that classroom, I had a friend for life. Happy angel anniversary, Amanda. I miss you dearly. So to everyone joining this webinar in the spirit of Amanda, I say, come sit beside me today. Listen to Dr. Blum and Sam. Allow them to be your health and wellness friends for life. Sit in this virtual empty chair right beside me today, and together, let's learn how to live life better. Make every moment of your life count, because from a mother who lost a daughter way too soon, life is precious. So enhance your life by living inflammation-free and support your daily living with recommendations from Dr. Blum and Sam. They are truly two very amazing individuals that not only help me and my patients here at New Leaf Wellness, but patients across the country. Dr. Blum has spent his career involved in research, clinical trials, and direct patient care. He is the CEO of Biotrinetics, and his expertise is in fields of food, inflammatory markers, and toxin sensitivities. Dr. Sam Alawieh has spent his career specializing in research development for the Health and Wellness Division, producing products that deliver maximum benefits for patients. Sam is the founder and CEO of RxNB Incorporated, providing a full platform of consumer packaged goods through integrity, innovation, and compassion. Please jot down any questions you might have during the webinar, and Dr. Blum, Sam, and myself will be delighted to address them at the end. At this time, I'd like to turn the webinar over to Dr. Blum.
Thank you, Lynn. Nice introduction. So I want you to look at the slide with the symptoms on it. I'm going to start there. So we're all, in healthcare, we're all involved with symptoms. Our patients come to us with a variety of situations, clinical presentations, and we wonder sometimes, how do they all get connected? So what are the conditions that we see the most of? We see obesity, we see stubborn weight that just won't come off. I mean, how often do you hear an individual come in, say, look, I'm 20, 30 pounds overweight, and I'm doing everything I can to lose that weight, and nothing helps. I hear it daily from our clients. A lot of people have glucose metabolic conditions, the prediabetes, the diabetes that requires insulin and other medications, and it seems every month there's a new set of injectables to go along with diabetes. We see a host of cognitive conditions, initially just memory loss or brain fog, but there are more serious and sinister connotations to the cognitive decline, where eventually these individuals suffer more serious dementia and Alzheimer's conditions, which of course, as we all know, have not so great outcomes. We have a lot of individuals that present with a variety of IBS and digestive gut inflammation and conditions. So we hear about persistent chronic diarrhea or persistent chronic constipation. We have people that are bloated that have gas, that the stools just aren't right. And their lives are miserable because they can't go and do the things they'd like to do on a regular basis, and they're always concerned when they go out about their gut problems. We have individuals with peripheral and cardiac vascular conditions that rob people of early life, and also limit their functionality. On a lesser note, we have people that have insomnia that just don't get a good night's rest. I ask every individual that tests with us, if they were to wake in the morning, how do they wake? In other words, are they ready to jump out of bed and go for a run, or are they groggy for a period of time? So how one wakes up is very important to one's life. We see a lot of people with mood disorders, anxiety issues. So anxiety and mood swings, irritability, those kind of symptoms are prevalent in our society. Those are just some of the symptoms that are common to our healthcare systems. So what ties them all together? And there's all these different conditions that are very different, are all tied together. How? Well, it turns out that the leaky gut or intestinal permeability condition that allows the tiny pores or holes in the gut ties everything together. And it comes from the toxins that we have in our environment. And for the purpose of this discussion, food is a toxin. So what happens is the toxins in the food leak from the inside of the gut to the blood, into the bloodstream. And that activates the immune system to track down this undigested food. In the process of tracking down and eliminating these pieces of food, a number of things happen that result in inflammation. But namely, we see a lot of free radicals get dumped into the system. And of course, the story of free radicals and antioxidants become a very important story. So how do we really clean up this situation with the gut? We can do it in a number of ways, but the most important thing is to modulate the toxins that we have. And so again, in the purpose, the one thing that we can do something about is to eliminate the foods that are causing this inflammation. We do that by doing a blood test that identifies inflammatory foods through a process known as IgG, or immunoglobulin G. And that tells us which foods are reactive and giving us a major problem. So if we can eliminate those and we can upregulate the liver to optimize processing the toxins, the insecticides, and the chemicals that come from different factories, we can shut down inflammation to a greater extent. And by doing that, along with healing the gut, we can move towards optimal health. One of the, so we have a test called food sensitivity, which is an antibody assay based on the inflammatory response. We test 90 foods, soon to be 180. We also include patient counseling, and we track our patients through the health process, where I'm talking to them on a weekly basis to understand what it means to eliminate certain foods, what to substitute, and how to go about doing their health. We add to this the liver detox protocols, leaky gut protocols, and we work with oxidative stress, which is the process that we start with free radicals and it damages healthy tissue. So we're working with both the toxins, the liver, the gut, and oxidative stress. The actual process is we mail out kits to practitioners or to individuals so that it can collect their blood. And that blood gets collected, it gets FedEx to us, or overnighted actually to us. The blood arrives in our lab. We report that blood out within 2 business days of receiving the blood, and immediately we start our consultation process. So I will call everybody who does the test as soon as the lab results are ready, and the patient gets their lab results, calls me, and we start our weekly consultation process. And we set goals in the very beginning, and it's our goal to meet those the patient's goals so that they can start the health. Now, I wanted to mention one thing that ties in the work that Sam is doing, is that in the process of eliminating the foods that they're eating, we come across a problem, which is that oftentimes various proteins are restricted. They can't have milk, they can't have eggs, or they can't have chicken, they can't have beef. So we come up against a barrier, and we tell the patients you can't have these various proteins. So one of the solutions to the problems that I run into with individuals on a regular basis is what to do. Well, one of the nice additions that we've had is hemp protein, and Sam will talk at length about those details, but I want you to tie it into a very practical solution for when somebody does a food sensitivity test and runs into a protein block. So take it away, Sam.
Thank you, Dr. Blum. I greatly appreciate it. I thank everybody for joining us today. I'm very excited to be a part of this opportunity for you to start your healing process. Dr. Blum had mentioned that it's a great opportunity for you to understand inflammation and move forward with identifying the key foods that behave like toxins. Now, as you are aware, those tests are very, very necessary for everybody, because we are all created differently. I want you to imagine that everyone has a different size cup, and I want you to imagine that that cup is the measure of your body being able to handle disease, that the minute it overflows, those are toxins that create disease. So picture water in a cup half full, and that is your body's response of trying to constantly remove toxins from the body. So there are ways where we want to deplete water in the cup at a minimal. But as we ignore these signs, we continue to add stress on the body from our environment, from the food we eat, from our habits, our culture, our genetics. All of these make up our capacity of how do I handle toxins coming into my body. You hear people say, you know what, I eat everything I want, I never get sick. Those people are clearing toxins at a better rate, and there may be reasons why. Inflammation happens at the cellular level. Our body is made up of millions and billions of cells that create organs, and our organs turn into systems, and our systems provide us our total body package. So when we think about our body being the cup, we think about the toxins being the water in the cup, we think about the overflow, we start to see those damages, we start having to immediately operate on the demand that we need to do something about this. We have to maybe start small or very aggressive protocol, because all inflammation eventually leads to disease. Diseases with high correlations to inflammation and oxidative stress are diseases like pain, fibromyalgia, all the way up to terminally ill diseases like cancer. So how can we target inflammation? What do I do about it? I know I'm in pain. I know I get my mood swings. Dr. Blum did a nice job presenting many different symptoms that we get as a result, usually in our guts. We feel it, we're bloated, we're inflamed. What do we do about it? What if I told you that we can actually target this naturally? What if I told you that hemp, what we all think is cannabis, actually has a definitive benefit of being a superfood? I want you to think about it. If you were an astronaut and you had the opportunity to carry one thing with you to the moon, it would be hemp. Hemp has so many benefits. It actually creates, it has stearidonic acid, which creates the DHA and the EPA that come from fish oil. So a lot of people can look at hemp protein, per se, to replace anything in regards to a fish oil as an option. You feel fuller faster. It's thermogenic, and there's a lot of key benefits that hemp can provide you. I can share with you some really cool facts. There's actually a guide that will be coming after the webinar that will explain so much of it. One of the things that I absolutely love about hemp is it's all in the numbers. You get from a serving 30% of your iron, 70% of your magnesium, 30% of your zinc, 15% of your folate, all in one protein serving. You also can get the ability as a vegan option to replace chicken or any other protein resources, and it actually has fiber too. You get about 3 to 4 grams per serving. The element that I love about this is that in our body we have the capacity to make certain chemicals that help us heal, and there are things we just simply can't get from our body. Those are known as essentials. So we get a lot of the essential omegas. There is a 3-to-1 ratio of omega-6 and omega-3. There is the opportunity to look at muscle repair and recovery with the protein. And even for weight loss, as a thermogenic, you feel faster, and it actually stimulates your metabolism to work better. Now, in looking at the next option that we have, my second favorite tool that I love to use for inflammation outside of hemp as a food is pregnenolone. Pregnenolone actually is something we make in the body, and it comes from cholesterol. I know we hear so much negative about cholesterol itself in the body, high cholesterol, high cholesterol. But what I believe is that when cholesterol is high, the body is trying to tell you something. If we need cholesterol to make pregnenolone, and that makes progesterone and testosterone and estrogens and all our hormones that make us happy, give us emotions, give us the opportunity to make proper decisions, it starts with cholesterol being turned into pregnenolone in the body. And with pregnenolone, what you want to think about is the capacity that it has on so much of the body systems. Nootropically, in the brain, it boosts cognitive function. You actually can get a much more enhanced memory by taking pregnenolone. And there's a lot of data that showcases the capacity for learning and enhancement in the brain. The other aspect of this, and we talked about insomnia with inflammation, well, pregnenolone stimulates a deep sleep. You know, with pregnenolone, there's actually studies that have been done that shows that it increases the amount of REM in the body. And by having great sleep, you have a great control process on your inflammation, because your body can balance out what is oxidative and what is reductive and make what is necessary. And I'm sure you guys can relate to when you have a really bad day of sleep, when you've only slept for an hour, how incoherent you are. that is due to the cytokine stressors that are popping off in your body that are making you feel this way. And one of the other aspects that I love about pregnenolone is it reduces that anti-anxiety. The more irritable we get, the more toxins overflow and start to just flow out of our cup, the more easier we are to get anxious and have general anxiety disorders. And pregnenolone can reduce the irritability and can help a person cope with that. And in return, it balances the immune system. So with pregnenolone, what you actually are doing is creating that holistic first primary option in the body to start working throughout the entire remainder of your pathways that are maybe in demand. Why do people get low testosterone? Why do people get low progesterone? Why do people get low cortisol? It's because of the pregnenolone pathway. And if you have high cholesterol, chances are your pregnenolone's low. Why? Because cholesterol makes pregnenolone. My third favorite is glutathione. I can probably talk about glutathione for hours, so I'm going to try to summarize it in minutes. Glutathione, if it's one thing you're going to get out of this today, glutathione is the ultimate antioxidant. It is the ultimate detoxifier that is natural in the body. Aging reduces glutathione. Stress, pollution, drugs, the foods we take, with the poor diets, all of these things relate to stress, stress, stress. And that stress on the body requires more and more glutathione, enough to the point where you can't make any more. And there's actually studies out there, and here's a cool fact, that we can predict your life expectancy, how long you are going to live. There is a correlation with your glutathione level, and many people don't even think to be testing for that. So with glutathione, you fight oxidative stress. Stress comes in the body, glutathione goes to work. It controls inflammation. Inflammation comes from cytokines. It's the body going, oh my God, we need to do something about this toxin. A toxin is basically something your body does not want to accept. Glutathione comes into the body and says, let's get rid of it. It creates a reaction that shuts it down. Imagine a firefighter going out to put out a fire. That is your glutathione in the body. So for anti-aging, glutathione is going to help because aging comes from free radicals. Free radicals come from toxins. You eat better, you live longer because you have less free radicals. Or take a really good dose of glutathione. It can prevent depression and stress. It's something that has been shown to help people with diseases that create deterioration. Alzheimer's. What's Alzheimer's? Alzheimer's is oxidative stress that creates so much damage that you end up with Alzheimer's. Glutathione targets oxidative stress, treats Alzheimer's. Parkinson's, oxidative stress, same thing. Glutathione combats oxidative stress. What is oxidative stress? It's something that goes at the cellular level, right at the cell. That's where glutathione works. Inside the cell and starts to create an inflammatory process, almost like a ticking time bomb, that the minute it goes off, it affects that cell, and as I said before, cells turn into organs, organs into systems, systems into body. Start at the molecular level with glutathione, the food you eat, preventing the toxin choice of protein with hemp protein, and you take pregnenolone so that you push the pathway, so that you make the testosterone you're supposed to make, that you make the estrogens you're supposed to make, that you target the processes that are supposed to work. When they stop working and they sit there, like a car in the snow for 20 years, you cannot turn it on and expect not to have something wrong. Inflammation equals stress. Stress equals cytokine response. Cytokine response equals long-term disease. So looking at our options, how do we customize an anti-inflammatory regimen for me? Not all bodies are created equal, because I may have a 5-gallon cup and you may have an 8-ounce cup. My cup may be full to the max and your cup may be full halfway. Take the food test. Dr. Blum and their team do an incredible job identifying the things that are toxins. Look, the only difference between a poison and a drug is the amount that you put into your body, when you put it into your body, and how your body responds to it. That's it. Food, more and more we are learning, is a drug. It responds like a drug. There are over 90% of all the synthetic products out there that are on our top 200 drugs list come from natural foods. They come from natural extracts. They come from those plants like hemp protein, the protein that comes from that. So if you really want to take this seriously, you want to take a food test and understand, does my body think this is chicken, or does my body want to go to war because I ate chicken? You eliminate those foods, you stop creating those stressors. And for us to help, we start draining the toxins from your cup with hemp protein, with pregnenolone, with glutathione, and we work on a customized plan. Dr. Blum will work with you on a plan that gives you a capacity to heal and possibly introduce foods down the road where your body can now recognize, hey, this is actually chicken. And you can work with our brilliant compounders that will customize with you and your providers something that will help you actually deal with the actual stressors that have created those damages in your body. So with that being said, get your customized compounds that contain glutathione and pregnenolone to assist in your natural detox process, or find something that's going to work for you, because this is a simple process. Make the right choices. Understand exactly what your body is receiving as a toxin. Understand how your body responds to that. One person may get Parkinson's because of it, the other may get cancer because of it, and the other may end up with Alzheimer's. Whatever the fact is, if we can prevent that and start with the test, then we have done our jobs and we are consciously making the right decisions. So with that, I'd like to turn it over back to Lynn to close out the webinar.
Thank you so much, Sam. Thank you so much, Dr. Blum. Do you see why they're my health and wellness experts? They are two very amazing individuals. If you have any questions, you can submit them through the chat, or you can also email them and we'll get the answers back to you as soon as possible. We'll give you a couple of moments to see if there are any questions coming through. In the meantime, I just wanted to reiterate, to do the food sensitivity testing, you can contact the bio team at the email address there or the phone number on the screen.
Looks like we have a question.
Does glutathione come in a pill that you take? Sam, do you want to address that one?
Yeah, I like for glutathione is a very fatty substance. My favorite way for glutathione is to be topical, is something that we can do lipophilic that will go through your skin and will go through the body. It will bypass, if we go orally, we're worried about the liver. We're worried about how we are going to metabolize it and how much % of that glutathione would work out for us. Can you take it that way? Yeah, but I always believe in the optimal route. And the optimal route is using the lymphatic system. And the lymphatic system is the fat distribution system that sits right under your skin. So because of that, if we can penetrate right under the skin, then we have the opportunity to put the glutathione right where it needs to be.
You want me to go on to the next question, Sam? I have gastritis. Yeah. How can that be helped? Dr. Blum, would you want to take that question?
Sure. Like many of the other gut-related symptoms, gastritis is perfect for this type of program because it's all inflammation based. And so by following the results of the food test and looking at some of the individual supplements that Sam can concoct for you, we can get inflammation under control, and I would expect a very good result with gastritis. If that individual wants to get a hold of me, I'm more than willing to talk to them as a precursor to any work that we might do for them.
Thank you, Dr. Blum. Another question is, are there any risks? And I'm assuming maybe that asks, are there any risks to the hemp protein? Sam, would you want to take that question?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, with anything we take in large doses, you know, what you want to look at for anything you put in your body. What you want to look at for anything you put into your body is there is a subdose where there's a spectrum from 0 to X number where, you know, this is really not going to impact me, not enough to create a intrinsic response. Then there is that spectrum that we believe is the dosage spectrum. In that spectrum, we think about what is my dose in this spectrum that is going to work best for me. After that, we then create the dose that becomes what I call a poison, because that is something that exceeds the amount for that particular product, or could start to create that negative impact effect. So what happens, for example, if you have too much pregnenolone? Everything in the body is a positive response, negative response, okay? So what that means is, if pregnenolone leads to testosterone, for example, and my testosterone is low, then I'm going to signal and say, I'm going to need more pregnenolone. Pregnenolone is going to signal and say, I'm going to need more cholesterol. So in this case, there are dosages that can impact the pathway because we may end up shutting things down by telling the body, we have too much of this, we don't need to make it. Hey, you know what? Cholesterol, we don't need pregnenolone. And that can create a negative effect. That's why it's important to work with your providers and put it to use. But is there something dangerous about these three options? Absolutely not. You have glutathione bioidentical, pregnenolone bioidentical to the body, and you have hemp protein by way of consumption that your body is going to use what it needs and metabolize what it doesn't.
Thank you, Sam. And then I think we'll take one more question. And I do have contact information for both Dr. Blum and Dr. Sam Alawieh, that if you have any specific questions that you can address, that's on this slide right here. So if you want to talk to Dr. Blum specifically or Sam, you can email them. You can also email myself at lynn@newleafcenters.com. Another question that came through is, how do you feel about the absorption of glutathione taken as a troche?
I like it. Glutathione size. So when we think about troches, we think about sublingual, which is basically under the tongue. There's a region there where we can absorb things right into the body. And from there, what we consider is micron size. We consider the size of the molecule and can it go through. Picture a net that's sitting there, and you're trying to catch all this fish, for example. And the fish that go through go right into the water. That water is your system. So what we want to do is when we do glutathione, we want to make sure they all go through the net. So what happens is we think about the actual dose that we can give, and is that dose clinical enough? Because the more of the glutathione I put under my tongue, the less that's actually going to go into the body, and the more I'm going to end up swallowing orally. But with glutathione, you can do it that way, but you're going to realize one thing, that as fast as it gets absorbed is as fast as it may be relieved from the body. So it is likely you're going to have to take it more frequently through the day. So sublingually, you're going to take frequently through the day. Topically, you're going to create a reservoir or a depot over time where you're going to have to, you can do it once a day.
Thank you, Sam. We're going to go ahead and close the webinar. It was a recorded webinar, and everyone will be receiving in an email the recording within a couple of days. But please don't hesitate to reach out to Dr. Blum, Dr. Alawieh for any questions, or myself. And then there's also NLRX down there for information from them also. We'd be more than happy to help you. I know for a fact how much pregnenolone and glutathione and the food sensitivity test helped myself. So I encourage everyone listening tonight to heed their advice and take the test and follow their recommendations. Thank you so much for attending. Have a great night.
Thank you. Thank you all.